And next is Jérémie Zimmermann from Quadrature du Net. Jérémie, à vous la parole.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. I'm the spokesperson for a citizen organization called La Quadrature du Net. We defend civil liberties in the digital environment. And we're convinced that democracy and innovation require net neutrality. Net neutrality for us is a founding principle of the internet. It is net neutrality that guided the growth of this interconnection of networks that we call the internet. It is net neutrality that is the key to the universality of this network. When no discrimination is applied regarding the emitter, the sender, or the type of data transmitted, then you can ensure that every user can participate to the very same network as its peer. Everyone is a peer on the network as long as there is neutrality. It's really a question of participation. Net neutrality is essential for preserving the fundamental freedom of citizens. In France, the Constitutional Court, the highest jurisdiction, declared in its decision 2009-580 of June the 10th, 2009, about the nefarious Hadopi law, that given the importance of online communication services for democratic participation and the expression of ideas and opinions, freedom of expression implies freedom to access such services. It is a strong statement that reflects the importance of the internet today. Unrestricted ability to access content, service, and application is mandatory, as well as the ability to send data. Receive and send means together democratic participation and fostering freedom of expression. The ability to publish has been given to everyone with the internet, and this is the major improvement over previous technologies, and this is what is at stake today. But net neutrality is also key to strong and vibrant innovation in Europe and everywhere else. The innovation model that drove the growth of the internet and the uses that make the growth of the internet are based on unrestricted capacity for designing, experimenting, and deploying new services and applications without asking permission to anyone, without any gatekeeper, and without risking to be discriminated against. This is literally the key to every new use that made the internet become what it is today. Ask yourself, in the past 15 years, where did the innovation come from? Did it come from the telecoms operators? Or did it come from small startups and SMEs within and outside the field of IT? It's not only the internet startups, but all the small corporations, all the small enterprises that benefited from the potential of the internet, that were able to increase their services, reach new audience, all has been made possible because no permission was to be asked to anyone. This is what is at stake today. Of course, we are not opposing, as such, network management policies. But the question comes here of what network management policies are acceptable and what network management policies do harm fundamental freedoms, innovation, and free competition. Well, we think that network management policies should respect certain criteria. They must serve approved engineering purposes, they may not be commercialized and sold, and they must avoid the creation of an artificial scarcity of bandwidth. It must be clear to everyone that a situation in which the operators will have the free hands to experiment with any network management policy will lead to creating new business models based on an artificial scarcity of bandwidth. In such models, those network management policies will become an incentive not to invest in new network capacity. It is therefore the very growth model of internet infrastructure that is at stake if we don't define and enforce what is acceptable as network management policies. It is also very important that we consider that net neutrality must be applied to both landline and wireless network internet. So far, landline internet was mostly neutral and pervasive, while mobile internet was non-neutral and quasi-inexistent. We all know that the growth of the mobile internet makes the uses converging altogether. The difference between landline and mobile is blurring increasingly. It is therefore crucial that mobile networks are submitted to the same rules of net neutrality as the landline. An example of innovation and new uses driven by net neutrality, as an anecdote, my Swedish friends, my hyper-connected Swedish friends, benefit from quasi-neutral mobile phone networks. They use a service called Bambuser. I guess that most of you don't know about it here. I didn't know before I met them. It allows to live stream videos from your mobile phone. They use it when they organize a party, to party remotely with the people who cannot attend because they live too far away. It's a new use. It may sound funny or silly or useless, but imagine how it could serve the purpose of citizen journalism, how it could be used in cases of emergency, disaster recovery, and so many other situations. In France, we cannot even use such a service. Therefore, it doesn't exist. So this is what is at stake. We think that to preserve this capacity of innovation, those new uses, fundamental freedom, and the growth model of the capacity of the internet, net neutrality must be made into law. Provisions aiming at competition and transparency has been inefficient so far when they have been experimented. Look at the situation in the EU, experiencing with those transparency rules since 2006, and have the operators practicing the more restrictions you can find anywhere in Europe. So we think the fundamental principle of net neutrality must be granted through law by three major provisions. One, to define the nature of a neutral internet. Two, by framing the network management practices. And three, by creating sanctions to punish violations to those behaviors. It is still time to do it now. But when those practices will be widespread, it may be too late and so much more difficult to implement. Just to conclude, the internet is for sure the most important invention of our civilization for the sharing of knowledge. This is what is at stake today. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now the penultimate speaker for this session, Richard Feasey, for